Hello, everyone, and welcome to WRKC Radio Kings College. I'm your host, AJ, and joining me today through the interwebs is the one and the only Sasha Spielberg, or as most of you know her, as Buzzy Lee. Sasha, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me.
I, oh, man, this is like honestly like a dream come true. This is awesome.
Oh my God, for me too.
so,
I love college.
yeah. uh, so, do you remember your time at college, or were you like partying a lot, or?
Like just rocked and like passed out all the time. No, I was actually, I feel like I was, I loved college and I remember it very well. And I was pretty tame in college. I went to Brown in Providence, Rhode Island. And I just was kind of tame. Like I feel like I loved my friends, I loved my classes, but I was dating someone who lived in New York. So every other weekend I'd go visit. And so I feel like I wasn't really, I mean, I feel like I didn't get a full experience socially because I'd leave on like a Thursday evening after classes and come back like Monday morning before classes to spend as much time as I could with my boyfriend. Because if you listen to my music, you will see that I am love obsessed. So I would really do anything at the time to be with him. So I was going back and forth, but I was really involved in just like extracurriculars and classes and everything. But I think socially, yeah, I was pretty tame.
Were you like a music major, or did you go for like communications or?
I was a literature and creative writing major. And you know what? It was the best. I loved it. There was one class called literary theory. Or was it? It was, yeah, literary theory. And I found it to be my favorite class I ever took and the hardest class I ever took. And that really threw me. But what I loved about Brown is, there's no requirements. So you were able to take classes in any field or any, I mean, God, what are they even? Field. I feel so removed from college. Any concentration, any major. Um, so you could take classes from any. So I was taking a bunch of like political silence. Can you? Oh my God, what a slip! Political science classes, and I was then taking like, I was taking art, and I didn't take any music classes. But on the side, I was doing my band. I had a band my freshman and sophomore year, and then I started a band with my brother, Theo, my junior year. So, and then I started working with Nico Jar, freshman, but really junior and senior year, we started really working and collaborating. So I was doing a bunch of music outside of my courses.
And the band with your brother, that was Wardell, right?
Exactly.
Is there any music coming out from that project soon, or is that on hold, or?
That, Theo and I think we'll always make music together, but that project is on hold. I like to call it because I'm not, he's my brother, and I think we'll pick back up, at some point, but right now it's on hold.
What were some of your biggest inspirations growing up?
I have so many. I feel like that I went through a bunch of phases. So from like 6 to 12, I loved pop, standard pop music. I mean, I just loved like Britney and Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls. And then as my brother, I idolized Theo and he loved punk. And I wasn't fully ready to enter that area. So I feel like classic rock was the next best thing. And there were crossovers. So I became like an avid vinyl collector, classic rock obsessed, like writing names of bands on my backpacks in seventh grade and thinking that was the coolest thing in the world, and like wearing classic slip-on Vans, the checkered ones, and like in the white checkered writing with black Sharpie as small as I could band names. It was so embarrassing, but I was obsessed with classic rock. And then in about ninth and 10th grade, I really started discovering music blogs and getting really into independent music and going to concerts and seeing, like, I saw the Shins play in 2003 at the Henry Fonda in LA. And I would go to just, this was before they were just huge, and I feel like I was really, I loved discovering bands, and so I would just go on the internet for hours, just diving deep dives, scuba dives, like into really niche indie, even like forgotten acts of the 90s. And then I got into Fiona Apple, and then Kate Bush was kind of last in terms of like high school uh, discography and what I was uh, finding I liked. And then I went to college, and then Nico really he really operates this more of an electronic space, and I just started broadening my taste. And then I started getting really, I was obsessed with this blog called Art Decade, and it's no longer functioning, but it was kind of lost music of the 70s, like real deep cuts. And I would get all my music from there. So I was discovering so much at Brown, and my friends had really eclectic tastes. So I have really been inspired by truly every single genre, truly. And like movie scores, it's like I grew up with so much, so many movie scores. So I feel like that informed my taste at a really early age, because I would be shown westerns, and then those would have sweeping scores. And I think that today, to this day, still informs my music, probably.
Honestly, like I love collecting vinyl. So like I'll like just go to record stores and just browse for hours, just find like just someone that looks interesting. And I love collecting like movie soundtracks also on vinyl. And
Cool.
I I don't know what it is about vinyl and like just finding something random and just discovering new music, but it's always like so much fun.
So fun. And I totally judge cover. If I see a cover that looks really weird and funky, I will buy that vinyl, not knowing the band, not looking it up. Like, I don't like to look anything up if I'm browsing. I just truly judge by the cover, by the album cover, and I'll take it home. And I've been so surprised. I discovered this band called, oh my God, is it called Brick? I think it's called Brick. Yeah, Brick. Uh, and I discovered, yeah, that was a great find, because I really loved the album art, which was pretty simple in your standard like 70s male band in front of a wall. But I don't know, there was something about it, and I feel like I've discovered so much music like that.
And what you said before, like when you were in school, you would write like on your vans or on the back of backpacks. Like, let's be honest, like we've all done that at some point. Like I don't look like it, but when I was in middle school, like I was into like the most emo bands like possible. Like like
Cool.
it would range like, MCR, like everyone knows them, or just like the screaming bands that everyone calls it. And
Amazing. Amazing.
and you're not into that, right? Like the metal or
Okay, so here's the thing. My little sister was a deep, like, obsessed with metal. So I kind of got, but I must have been a little bit older, because I'm 6 years older than her. So I kind of think I was, once she started getting into metal, I might have only had a year left of high school. But she's the coolest person I know, and I just think I would love to get into it, I think.
are you like you're open to like all genres?
Oh my gosh, yes, of course. I don't think you can. I'm not sure I could ever write music if I were closed off to any genre, to any which genre. I think it's so important to be open. And on my run today, I listened to Mozart, and then I listened to Kendrick, and it's like very, though Mozart informs my run just as much as Kendrick does. And I just think it's good to, yeah, to go from like Mahler to, what's the opposite of, I mean, I guess you can't say any music is the opposite of classical, but I was gonna say, like, what's the opposite of Mahler? Like Ariana Grande? I don't know. Yeah, I just love every genre. I really do. Someone give me a tip to listen to metal as you're exiting an airport, because it's so chaotic and you just want to get
Oh my
home, and
god.
you've been on a long flight, but for some reason they were like, metal helps me get through to baggage claim. And I took that tip, and honestly, I was, for a while, I was just listening to metal the second the plane landed. No, the second I was walking off the plane, I would just put on metal.
Now like what like
Great
type would
tip.
it be? Like Metallica metal or like
Well, so
fast
I
or
started with Metallica metal, but then I somehow segued into like Melt Banana. Do you know? I think it was. Wait, is that what it was? Melt Banana? Am I being Melt Banana? Now I have to look it up. Yeah, yeah. It's a Japanese noise rock band
I've
playing
never heard of them
known for
actually.
playing extremely fast grindcore and noise music mixed with experimental electronica. I mean, this is, I guess, a bit. Well, I would listen to Melt Banana. Let it be known.
I don't know why, but for years I've just never listened to like Deftones. Like I don't know why. Like I'm like the biggest metalhead, and for years I never listened to them. Then this year I'm like, oh yeah. Like my friend's like, oh, you should give them a try. I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. And now like I can't stop. It's just
Oh, cool.
I don't know. Have you ever had like artists like that where you never listened to them for the longest time, and then you finally do one day, and they just become your next like obsession?
Oh my God, of course, this just happened to me so recently. There was someone, oh my God, someone was like, you never really, you know what? Actually, this is kind of my husband, sorry, I just got married, so it's so weird to say, but my husband and I, again, this just shows how far away from college I am. My husband and I put on Air's first album, and while I've known a bunch of songs by Air, I've never fully listened through the album, and it's incredible. Incredible, absolutely incredible.
Like I don't know what it is. There's just something about a band you've never heard of, and then all of a sudden you're just obsessed with them for the next few months or so. There's just that like awesome feeling, you know? Like I don't know how to
Well, it's the
describe it.
honeymoon. Well, it's honeymoon phase with music. You get, it's like a relationship. You get into something and you have this honeymoon phase where you're just learning so and discovering someone or something, and it's just the best feeling.
Is there a certain message or feeling that you want your audience to get through your music?
Oh, I mean, I'd like them to. I just think I love being related to in any way. So I went through quite a heartbreak and then wrote this record truly as though it were a diary entry. And I recorded it in such an intimate way. I went to Nico's apartment and we lived there, cooked every meal together, went on maybe 2 walks, but it was truly like, I mean, this was quarantine before quarantine. We were inside making music in this really intimate way where we used very little, we used a piano, and then it was very minimal, and very intimate. And I think I just want, the best messages that I've received about the album are just, I'm going through a breakup too, and I'm really struggling, and I feel like this album is getting me through that. And it's for me, it's just that's kind of all I need to hear, is because I think when you go through a breakup, you feel as though you're the first person to ever go through heartbreak, and you feel so alone, and it's this isolated experience, and you think no one in the history of anyone has ever been through heartbreak. And then you discover, obviously, this is the root of everyone. I mean, this is heartbreak. And so I think hearing that anyone relates to my own heartbreak, because mine isn't actually any more special than anyone else's, I feel like it's pretty on the same level. So I feel just, yeah, I hope people, I don't know, relate to it.
I definitely think a lot of people do relate to it. And do you always get like messages like that?
I do. I'm so grateful. I get so many messages like that. And it's like every time I get it, it feels like the first time I'm seeing it. And while I've moved on, and I'm married now, and I fell in love with someone so incredible and married him, I still feel seen and like heard if from, my breakup 4 years ago. That's the best feeling, just to feel like you're not, I mean, it's again, not to, it's almost pompous of me to think that like I'm the only person in the entire world who's gone through heartbreak. But at the time, I felt so alone. And it just, yeah, it is really, I do love, I mean, I'm so sorry for anyone going through it, but I also really am so grateful that anyone relates their own experience to the album or music in general.
If there was an artist or band that you love to like collaborate or tour with, who would that be?
Well, I kind of just did. It's so funny. I toured with Haim, and they're also like I'm really close with them. So it was sort of a dream to be on tour with your best friends. Um, and it was just the most fun. And that, even probably before I met them, I would have said that. But I mean, Kate Bush is truly having a resurgence. So happy for her. But like, if she, I mean, when she, if she tours ever, I also love, I'm going on tour with JPEG Mafia, who is incredible, and he's so talented. And I'm so, I've opened for him actually once before, and we make different music, but also like, I collaborate with him too, and he sometimes produces my own songs, and then I kind of go, sing on his songs, and there's this really great collaboration there. So weirdly, I just want to work with friends for the rest of my life. And, there are obvious people that I would die to go on tour with, who I respect, but I don't know personally. But I think going on tour with friends is just the most fun ever.
And even just working with friends in general makes things so much easier.
Totally. Like Nico. Nico's one of my best friends and also, was my sole collaborator for Buzzy Lee.
And like speaking of Hein, like on the last show you did, it was a sold out show at the Hollywood Bowl, right?
Yes.
How was that?
Oh my God, insane. That was insane. I was truly, what's funny though, I had 4 shows leading up to the Hollywood Bowl, but all I could focus on was, oh my God, I'm playing the Hollywood Bowl. I'm from Los Angeles. Like, this is a huge deal. Holy shit. I was so excited. My parents were coming. I was so just like, I just was so excited and only focused on the bowl show. But little did I know, the shows leading up to the bowl were weirdly like, I loved them. Like Oakland and Phoenix, those 2 shows were incredible. And I didn't even really imagine, I was so focused on the bowl that the other shows actually almost felt more powerful than the bowl. Not to, the bowl was like truly insane. At one point I just looked up and I was like, oh my God, I am here. Here I am singing. Here I am. Oh, there's the bowl. I'm in the bowl. Okay. And it just was very, but at that point I just had so many great shows leading up to it that I felt so happy. And, I love performing live. I just love it. So it felt very surreal, and at the same time, like I was just in my bedroom. So it was a very interesting juxtaposition.
Now, I just want to say this. One of my favorite videos to watch is your Tiny Desk concert that you did in the
Oh,
bathroom. And
oh my God.
I recommend everyone listening to check it out if you haven't already. But what was that like performing in like a small space in like a bathroom like that?
I mean, here's the thing. As I said about my record and about, I love intimate anything. So my ideal show is like, I saw that Feist, by the way, Feist is someone I would kill to go on tour with. I love Feist. Feist did a show, she did a residency, and I believe she had the audience on the stage with her. And I feel like there were only like 50 people surrounding her. And so she just sat on a chair in the middle in like a circle. And that is my ideal performance. I love intimate shows. I just love them. I love to invite people into a room and feel close to everyone. And so the tiny desk, I was like, great, let's get smaller, honestly. Like I could go smaller. Let's get small. Let's sit on each other's laps, and that'll be fun and cute. It was a little overwhelming. We had to take the door off. I mean, that was that was the craziest thing we did. We had to take the door off hinges because it was, the camera couldn't really get in there. But our camera operator and DP is a friend, Daniel Bombell, and he's very talented. And he, we did the entire tiny desk in one take. So I think they do that normally, but with this at home tiny desk, you could get creative, you could cut if you needed to, you could edit it, but I really wanted it to be done in one take where we go seamlessly from song to song, and you're just in the bathroom and it's a show. And so that was really, really fun. So we did it about 4 times. We did the whole thing 4 times. I believe it's 15 minutes. So that meant Daniel had to hold the camera. I mean, he was steady. he was operating it, and it was on his shoulder, and he had to hold it 15 minutes at a time. And so I gifted him like a massage on top of it. But it was so fun. That was really surreal too, because obviously that was a huge, I've always wanted to do that. And it was just so exciting when it happened.
And speaking of Haim, you were in Licorice Pizza.
I said, hi, Lana. I was right there.
How was that, like working on like a Paul Thomas Anderson film and being in possibly one of the biggest films of the year?
Oh my God, it was so cool. It was so cool. I'm just, yeah, anytime it was just very, I loved, I mean, first of all, it was the middle of COVID. And so I kind of hadn't seen anyone in like, at that point in 8 months or 7 months. And so it was very overwhelming to like walk onto a set all of a sudden. And, the COVID protocols were very intense. I felt safe, but I also, the scene that I'm in, there were a bunch of kids, and I'm signing in everyone. And, yeah, I was a bit, it was surreal for one, seeing how Paul Thomas Anderson works, and then surreal being around so many people after being so sequestered to my home for 8 straight months. But it was also surreal seeing Alana, who's one of my dearest friends, be so incredible and charismatic and in front of a camera. Even, I got to watch it live. It wasn't just like, okay, in the editing room, then it all came together. Like, I got to see her be that charismatic right in front of me. And it was so cool to see, because I have been putting her through the ringer for like Instagram bits that I'll be like, okay, Alana, let's do this bit about makeup. We're gonna tell her, blah, 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 and I will direct her, and she and I will do these, like, or we used to do these kind of Instagram bits, because she also lived with me. We were roommates, and we would just do all these little funny bits, and I was just clearly not as talented of a director as Paul, because they would be so kind of just, okay, great, we did it. But she would always shine, even through the Instagram videos. So it's so cool that Paul really saw that and was able to harness it.
I keep seeing on comments on like Instagram or TikTok or whatever that Paul Thomas Anderson is basically the fourth sister now for them.
Oh, no, I am. Can you imagine if I was like, no, he's not? Yeah, I mean, they're all very close. It's really sweet to watch, and he's close with their parents. It's just a great, yeah, it was just a great hang.
That's so cool. Like I remember watching it the first time in theaters, and I saw you in it. I'm like, oh shit. And then
I know.
your sister Destry in it also.
Yeah, it was kind of a family, and also his kids are in it, and like it was kind of a family affair. It was very fun. It was like kind of a family affair for everyone.
Are we going to be seeing you in acting roles soon, or possibly behind the camera at all? Like, do you have any plans in the future?
The only thing, I directed my music video for Strange Town. I co-directed that, and I love. I think that, I have to be completely honest, and I'm sure it was probably because I had a daunting figure to look up to. It was quite daunting of an idea to want to be a director, but I never gravitated towards directing. I did make movies, a lot of movies growing up, but as I got more into music, I just, I was just so much more into music than directing. But then directing this music video was real. I really loved it. So I think if there's a way to somehow just combine it all, then I'm in. But I think music is just my first love. And the acting thing, I feel, I did it for a while, and I wasn't in love with it. Like, it wasn't I did so many plays at Brown, and I just was like, every time, I did one play. It was a Sam Shepard play, and there was one scene where I had to sing a Patsy Cline song. And each night I would just look forward to that one moment. And that's sort of when I knew, I was like, okay, maybe I just like music more. And yeah, music is just the top for me. And then if directing somehow falls in, like with my Strange Town video, then I'm in and I am down. But yeah.
Well, maybe you can write and direct and star in your own musical.
Oh my God. I will tell you that many friends have told me to do that, and I am down, kind of, Maybe when I'm like having a breakdown. I don't know.
Well, then hopefully that's not soon then.
Exactly. No, yes, exactly. That's all it is. I imagine that's going to be around 44 for me. So I'll see you soon, 12 years. No, I would love to. I know I did. I also was in musicals, in high school. So I can get into I kind of can get into anything that I'm doing. I really give everything my all. If I'm, focused on something, I really do give it my all. So whatever.
Do you have like a favorite movie that you can always rely on rewatching and never get tired of?
Okay, yes, of course. Of course. I mean, this is sort of what I was talking about I feel like I was talking about with my friend about how for me it's so comforting to have a movie that I can rewatch over and over again. So I have a fear of flying, so I would download four movies, back in iTunes, downloading. I mean, I feel like you can still do that. I don't even know. But I would on my laptop, the four movies that I would just watch over and over again on planes were Mean Girls, Clueless, Bridesmaids, and Orange County, if you can believe it. So I was pretty basic in my taste. I just need like comedies from my youth. And so that is comforting for me. But in terms of like, I mean, I adore movies, and there are I really separate the Cluelesses and Mean Girls. That for me is comfort watching, but the movies that have stayed with me the longest, I've actually probably only seen twice. And it's because it almost was too powerful seeing it the first time. And the second might have been pushing it that I almost lock it. It's like deep down somewhere in my brain. And then I cover all the depth with Orange County and Jack Black.
I mean, you can't really go wrong with those, can you?
No, I love them. They're my friend. They're also so smart and so well written. I'm just talking like, yeah, it's, like Citizen Kane, I'll probably only see actually, I watched that twice in 4 months because it just so happened that it's complicated. But I did watch Citizen Kane twice in the span of 4 months over COVID. But it was an accident.
Well, I'll be completely honest. I've never seen Citizen Kane, but I have seen Space Chimp, so I feel like that cancels it out.
Oh, that 100% cancels it out. That's a known. You look up that and it says, "Don't worry, you don't need to see Citizen Kane." It's
Exactly.
on. Yeah, it's already. Yeah, it's written. It is written. I hadn't seen Citizen Kane until 2020. So I was right there with you, and then I finally decided like, let's get this thing over with. And then I loved it. But I also saw the Simpsons episode about it's like the Rosebud Simpsons episode. But so I feel like I had seen Citizen Kane through the Simpsons.
I'm a huge like horror movie fan. Do you have a favorite horror
Oh
movie,
my
or if you're
God,
into that
are
genre?
you kidding? I'm obsessed with that genre. Are you kidding me? I'm a fanatic. And it's the only movies that no, that's not true. But it's one of my greatest pleasures to go to a theater to see the latest, whatever is out. It's my favorite thing to do. I just saw Men 2 weeks ago.
Oh
That was
my,
like the first thing
that
I did after COVID.
that movie. Oh my god.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, I have so many. I mean, obviously, like Rosemary's Baby is up there, and uh, The Haunting of. I actually have. I mean, I don't know where to start, but recently, like, I really do like everything Ari Aster does. Like, I do. I really Hereditary really got me. Midsommar, like, those were some recent ones that really kind of got me because I think I get trying to think. I mean, yeah, let's talk about horror. I love it.
Now I agree with you there. Like Ari Aster, I think he's one of the best in the game right now.
Me too.
Also, one of my favorites recently, like Mike Flanagan, like Haunting a Hill House, Doctor Sleep. Then he did Bly Manor and Midnight
Oh
Mass.
yeah,
Like he's on just a good streak. Like I
he really is. I agree. But have you seen the original Haunting of Hill House?
yes,
It's so good.
I love all the versions, even the Jan de Bont '90s one. Like that's a guilty pleasure. Not even gonna lie. Like
Or wait, is it called? Sorry, it's called The Haunting. What's it's maybe just The Haunting. It
yeah,
was the original Haunting of Hill House, like that, because I thought that TV show was so good. I mean, I watched that as well, but yeah, it's called The Haunting, right? The original one, or what is it?
right.
It's there's
Yeah, it's The
yeah.
Haunting.
Okay.
What was the one that just came out? I lost my train of thought with that. All right.
No, I could go on. I love horror movies. It's probably my favorite genre.
Do you watch like any movies on Shudder, like the horror movie streaming service?
Okay, so no, and I know that I need to. I'm almost ashamed to say no, but I know all about
I'm not sponsored at all. Like I'm just
it.
just saying it. Like I love that. Like it's basically the Netflix for horror. Like I love it.
I'm so excited. Well, I'll do it. I'll do it now that you're saying it. I'll just commit.
Yeah, awesome. I know you're out of time, but again, thank you so much for doing this. This means so much
Oh
to
my god,
me.
thank you for having me. Hey, it's Sasha Spielberg, aka Buzzy Lee, and you are listening to 88.5 WRKC Wilkes-Barre.